Hey guys, it's Michelle. I can't sleep, so I'm going to do a post about my experience and getting treatment for my eating disorder and all that. I have always been at an average weight or above, even when my eating disorder was really, really bad. I'm not a little person. I will never be a little person. I am not built little. I'm very muscular and I have really huge bones. And that has played a huge role, like, in regards to my treatment for my eating disorder. I did not get help for my eating disorder until about 5.5 years after it started. I was very good at hiding it. People didn't really notice. I mean, they knew I'd lost weight, but no one really, I guess, did anything about it. But I finally got help, and I went to this clinic, and where I live, there's really not many options for people with eating disorders. When I first started, there was not an adult clinic at all. Like, if you're an adult and you had an eating disorder, you just had to go to, like, your general practitioner and get help there. So I went to this place and that specialized in children, and it would cover you until you're 21, but it was through a children's hospital. So once you were, over the age of 21, it cut you off. Well, I went there for my initial appointment and to get diagnosed officially and all that jazz. And they diagnosed me with bulimia and all that. And things were really bad at that point. I was really sick, and I probably should have gone in the hospital several times. But due to the fact that I was not underweight or tiny or, whatever, I was not. And that played a huge role in how things progressed later on. Sorry, I'm fidgeting. So most of the girls that I went to clinic with were anorexic. I think I was the only girl there that was bulimic at all. And they were all, small and whatnot, which is fine, But my treatment team did not really take me as seriously as they did the other girls. There were several times to where my heart rate was borderline needing to be hospitalized, and they spaced my appointments out. And for me, that was basically like, oh, Michelle, you're not sick enough, you're not sick enough, you're not sick enough. No one's taking you seriously because you're not that sick. You can do more. You can... And I did. But even then, once I took it further or whatever, they threatened me with the hospital, but they never did anything. Like, one time my nutritionist said I was too dehydrated, and she's like, I could put you in the hospital because you're so dehydrated. But she never did it. And every time stuff like that happened, it was like, you're not sick enough, you're not sick enough. They're not taking you seriously. You need to do more. You need to, which I know is the eating disorder talking. But that made a huge dent in my recovery, I guess you could say, because I spent basically the whole time I went to that clinic trying to make myself worse because they didn't take me seriously. And there's a little bit of backstory with that. I come from a very, very good family. Like, I'm beyond blessed. I've been given so many opportunities, and I have such a wonderful family. But they didn't really know how to deal with the eating disorder, so they kind of ignored it. I mean, I don't know that they ignored it, but I don't think they wanted to know what was going on, per se. So I felt like I had to prove to them, prove to my treatment team, and prove to everybody that I was sick enough to get help. Like, I did need help. And that really, really screwed things up. And finally, I went to that place for like 9 months or so. And then our insurance, they had told us they would bill our insurance or whatever, and then it come to find out the insurance was not paying for it at all. So it was like real expensive, and I went every week and all this stuff. So my dad said I couldn't go anymore because it was too expensive, and then I just have to go see a regular counselor or whatever, and I'd be fine. And this was another blow to, you're not sick enough, you don't matter, you're not worth what it costs to fix you. And right when I got basically bumped out of that program, I was like in crisis. Honestly, things were really bad. I was not doing well at all. I'd lost a lot of weight, and never below an unhealthy weight, obviously. But that played into it, and then made it worse. And then started at what had then been opened up was the adult version. Not the same hospital, but an adult clinic for people with eating disorders. And they were really good for a while. But then I think I went through like 5 nutritionists in a matter of like 2 years. And had a really awesome therapist and made tremendous progress, and basically got to where I am now with her. But then she left the program for a different form of, like, to do therapy for different things. And I was medically stable, so I was discharged from the medical portion of the clinic anyway, and I still saw a therapist there for a long time. But basically throughout all the dealings with medical stuff, even when I was like really bad, nobody took me seriously. And I mean, I probably could have died. It was so bad at one point. I think my heart rate was like 25 once, which is really, really, really not good. And I'm fortunate that I have no long-term health consequences from all this stuff. So I just wanted to talk about the not feeling sick enough, which that's not the case. And a lot of clinics and stuff like that don't take you as seriously if you are not anorexic and you're not underweight and you're not, all that. Which, if you're ever in a situation like that and you have an opportunity to go somewhere else, do it. Just because they're a doctor does not mean that they're the right doctor for you. And if they don't take you seriously, then they may not treat you, I guess, as you should be treated, not like taking you seriously. They could ignore stuff that could seriously be a problem, and all that. I know a lot of people have probably had this same deal, especially those that are bulimic. With when you're anorexic, they can visually see what's going on and all that. But with bulimia, you look normal, you appear normal and all that. And unless you're just like super, super crisis mode, you may not look sick. And for me, even when I was at my sickest, I was still overweight by 1 pound because of how I'm built and my body structure and all that. But I just want to talk about that and, just find a different person. It doesn't matter that they're a doctor. Find somebody that believes you. Find somebody that knows what you're going through. The most recent therapist I've seen, she was awesome. She basically told me that if I'd seen her, she would have sent me to treatment like 4 times, based on what had happened. So just because they're a doctor does not mean that, they know everything. So make them listen to you. That's what they're there for. Just because you don't fit the criteria of what they consider as high priority does not mean that you don't need, to be taken seriously. So stick up for yourselves. I even had, when I was younger, I had told a psychiatrist that I had seen that I thought I had an eating disorder, and he looked me in the face and he said, well, you don't look skinny, so you don't have a problem. And oh my gosh, that just made me try even harder to get them to take me seriously. And in time, I finally realized it doesn't matter if they believe me or not. I know that I have a problem and it's real. And if anybody knows, it would be me. And so I've just had to find people that believe me. And I've been fortunate enough for the last several years that everybody's believed me. And if they don't, then screw them. Honestly, screw them. They don't know you. They don't know your life. They don't know what you've been through. And an eating disorder does not necessarily mean you're going to look a certain way. It comes in all forms of shapes and sizes. And that's what a lot of the doctors don't realize. And that, you could be about to die even if you were really, really overweight. That's not, it's your health, and you have to make sure somebody takes you seriously. So I guess that's it. Have a good night, guys. Love y'all.